homage to the Blessed One. Dear friend, today, April 1st, 2019, at Brahma Vihara Meditation Center, I would like to deliver accompanied by loving kindness from Sanyutta Nikaya, accompanied by loving kindness. So this sutta, that one group monks who were disciple of the Buddha, they went for the alms round and they thought that today is too early for going alms round. Then they went to another monastery, another wanderers, another sect monastery. And when they arrived there, and that group monks said to the disciple of the Buddha, "We heard that Buddha teach loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity like this, like this, like this. And we also teach like that, And disciple of the Buddha, they were quiet. They were not happy and also no rejected their whatever they said, They determined that. They were very quiet because they are very intelligent, They didn't say anything, just keep silent, and they thought that we'll go to Blessed One and we'll ask about it. Then, after finishing discussion with them, they went for the alms round, collected the food, and came back to the monastery and went to the Blessed One and sat one side and bowed and then paid respect to the Blessed One. And whatever discussion happened between two groups, so disciple of the Blessed One asked one by one. Then Buddha explained how to answer their question. And Buddha also said that if you ask them this question, they will not be able to answer. Because only the Blessed One and the disciple of the Buddha will be able to answer that, not other sect. So now we are going to learn what the really Blessed One said.
Now, when you say they were from a different sect, was it a sect of Buddhism or a totally different?
Actually, they're from another group.
Okay.
Another group. In India, there are many kinds of religion.
Mm-hmm.
So here it said wanderers. Wanderers means other sect.
Okay.
Not Buddhism. They're from the other sect.
Mm-hmm.
So in Hinduism, they also have loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity. But the way they teach and the way the Buddha taught is different. Okay? So let us read, then we'll know what Buddha really exactly explained here, right? He said that on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling among the Kuliyan. Kuliyan, this is the name of the place, where there was a town of the Kuliyans named Halidavasana. Halidavasana. Then in the morning, a number of the bhikkhus dressed and taking their bowls and robes entered Halidavasana for alms. Then it occurred to them, it is still too early to work for alms in Halidavasana. let us go to the park of the wanderers of other sects. So now you understand what I explained, right?
Yes.
Then those monks went to the park of the wanderers of other sects. They exchanged greeting with those wanderers, and when they had concluded their greetings and cordial talk, sat down to one side. The wanderers then said to them, you see, whatever I said, not the blessed one disciple, but wanderers. The wanderers then said to them, friends, Dasata Gautama teaches the Dhamma to his disciple thus. Maybe they heard from someone, or they maybe went to listen the talk. That's why they are talking like that. Come, bhikkhus, abandon the 5 hindrances. So what are the 5 hindrances?
Anxiety or anxiousness, sloth and torpor,
You have to
sensual lust.
You have to say gradually. Sensual desire,
Sensual desire,
or greed, sensual desire, aversion,
aversion,
sleepiness and dullness, restlessness and anxiety,
restlessness,
and doubt.
doubt.
So you have to say again. Number 1, sensual desire. Number 2, aversion. Number 3, sleepiness and dullness. We call him Pali sloth and torpor. But if you say sleepiness and dullness, more easier, And restlessness and anxiety.
Restlessness and anxiousness.
Restlessness and anxiety.
Anxiety.
And last one is doubt.
Doubt.
So you have to keep all the time in your mind. So just read that paper and bring up in your mind, because this is very important. You see? So here it had said 5 hindrances. Abandon the 5 hindrances. So you have to abandon. Otherwise you will not be able to attain the Nibbana. You see? You will not be able to attain first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. You cannot attain that. You must abandon the 5 hindrances. So that's why the other sects said that the Buddha taught like this. Because whatever Buddha delivered to the monks or to lay people, they heard that and they are explaining to the Buddhist disciple.
I see.
You see? Abandon the 5 hindrances. The corruption of the mind that weaken wisdom. So what does it mean, corruption? That means your mind is defiled.
Yeah.
Your mind is defiled. And so when your mind is defiled and your mind is weakened, you cannot gain wisdom. That's why here I explain corruption of the mind that weaken wisdom. That your mind, your wisdom will be weak if your mind is defiled. And dwell perverting 1/4. What does it mean 1/4?
Just a quarter of a whole.
Okay, let me read that. Dwell perverting 1/4 with a mind imbued with loving kindness. What does it mean, this sentence?
Read it again.
It said that dwell perverting 1/4 with a mind imbued with loving kindness. Do you understand that one?
No.
Okay, if you don't understand, let me know, because I will explain. So, dwell perverting 1/4 means for what? 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
For what? 5 minutes? I said yesterday, right?
Yes.
For what?
In
5
each
minutes?
direction.
You just radiate loving kindness from your head. Radiate loving kindness forward. 5 minutes. That's why he said, dwell perverting 1/4.
1/4.
1/4 means you radiate loving kindness forward. May all living beings, all human beings, all deities be happy, peaceful, free from fear, free from danger, whatever you want to make, just radiate to the all forward direction. It's called one quarter means forward. And then, likewise, the second quarter, what does it mean? Backwards.
Backwards.
5 minutes. And then third quarter, left side. The fourth quarter, right side. Then, thus above, below, across, and everywhere, and to all as to oneself, dwell pervading the entire world with a mind imbued with loving kindness, boast, exalted, measureless, without hostility, without ego. So these are the loving kindness. So, after this, that monk, those wanderers, they're explaining Buddha's teaching to Buddha's disciple. Right? So both of them advanced meditator. Both of them. They're advanced meditator. So those monks, whatever they learn, they heard from the Buddha. Same thing they are teaching to the Buddha's disciple, but the Buddha's disciple also don't know. They don't know about loving kindness. That's why they were quiet.
I see.
They were quiet. And so this section, loving kindness, how do we practice? We practice first to radiate loving kindness to ourselves, 10 minutes, and radiate loving kindness to a spiritual friend the rest of time. So when we are practicing that way, we gain first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. Then our feeling from the heart is come to the top of our head. Right?
Yes.
So then we become advanced meditator. So these are the loving kindness. So you can practice loving kindness after this. And after that you cannot practice loving kindness anymore. So now we are going to talk about dwell pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with compassion. Likewise this second quarter, same things. If you understand the first one, then compassion is easy to understand. Third quarter and then fourth quarter, that means forward,
Do it the same.
same thing,
Six
forward
directions.
5 and 6 direction. And thus above, below, across, and everywhere, and to all as to oneself, and while pervading the entire world with a mind imbued with compassion, boast, exalted, measureless, without hostility, without ego. So this is the section of compassion. Is it clear? So in this section, you cannot practice loving kindness anymore. So when you, from the sixth direction, you are practicing sixth direction and all direction, and practicing, your mind is so balanced, and eventually your meditation will progress from loving kindness to the base of infinite space.
Okay.
So that stage, you have to practice compassion.
So not until you get to that stage.
You'll understand, because you in your mind, loving kindness will not arise anymore. It will go from loving kindness to compassion.
Automatically.
Yeah.
I think that happens.
You'll feel that.
I think that.
So how do you feel? Your mind will be more softer, like cotton. You'll experience that. You feel that. Then you will understand that your meditation is one step advanced. That means you are in the base of infinite space. You like floating. You like flying. Not in the floor. You feel that your body is, you don't have a body, you have only mind.
And it just expands.
Right, and then from all direction it will expand. Expansion will be increased, you know.
That just happened to me.
Right. So that means you cannot practice loving kindness anymore.
Okay.
So you are the base of infinite space. You have to practice what? Compassion. Is it make sense?
Yeah. So how would you describe the difference between compassion and loving kindness?
That's why I said your mind will be more softer.
Okay, that just happens automatically. Well,
Yeah, it will change automatically from loving kindness to compassion. Then like cotton, your mind will be more softer, like cotton.
So that even though it felt like my mind was expanding.
Yeah, expansion will occur all direction. You'll feel that. You'll experience that.
Yeah, feels like your
Right.
head's real large, basically.
Yes.
Okay. So, can you have that happen to you without the mind being light like cotton?
That moment, no mind. That moment, no body.
Okay.
Because you feel that you have the body,
Right.
only first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana.
Uh-huh.
So then when you're feeling from here to the up, so you are the base of infinite space, that means it's called Akasanasayatana.
So when I feel I have no body, then
Only mind.
it's automatically going to go
Right.
into compassion.
Only mind.
Okay.
Right?
I
So
understand.
we finished now section 2. Loving kindness and compassion. So now we are going to joy. So here said, dwell pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with joy. But here,
Altruism.
Bhante Bhikkhu will translate altruistic joy. So what does it mean altruistic joy? Altruistic joy means you told me that, Bhante, I gained the fourth jhana. And I was so happy. Wow, this is the good stuff. You know, this is called altruistic joy.
Okay.
But here, joy means, it's called uplifted joy.
Oh, okay.
It's called uplifted joy. So, likewise the second quarter, likewise the third quarter, likewise the fourth quarter. So you understand that, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Thus above, below, across, and everywhere, and to all as to oneself, dwell, pervading the entire world with the mind, imbued with joy, burst, exalted, and measureless, without hostility, without ill will. So this is the section number 3, joy. So when you attain this section, you'll see from the base of infinite space, you are practicing, then you will gain one step more. That is called the base of infinite consciousness. So how consciousness is arising, passing away, arising, passing away, arising, passing away, it arises very quickly. You will feel that, you'll experience that.
You can see it.
Yeah. So you'll see that moment, the link of dependent origination.
Oh, okay.
How rising, passing away, it's one snap of the finger, 1,000 consciousness arising, passing away, rising, passing away, rising, passing away. So you'll feel that. So that moment, you'll experience everything is impermanence. And rising, passing away. Nothing is permanent. I'm not telling to rise, but it's still arising
Uh-huh.
and passing away. I want to hold it, but you cannot hold it. It's going away. Then in your mind, uplifted joy will rise. Wow, it's really good stuff.
Again.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. So this is called the joy, mudita in Pali.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And then
So
next,
when you hit that stage, you get kind of like
you see the
a
link.
sign of inside your head where you're actually Like a spark or?
No, it's still the series of the consciousness.
Oh, okay. I
Series of
understand.
the
All right.
consciousness.
Instead of like now how I envision it as just continuous.
Right. You
It'll
see the
start breaking up.
series of the consciousness, how rising, passing, where rising, passing is called. It will become the more clear the dependent origination, the link of dependent origination. Okay? And then the last part. So in this section, you practice joy. Okay? The base of infinite consciousness, you cannot practice compassion anymore.
Okay.
You practice joy. Because
It changes.
later on, I will explain. Later on, Buddha explained here very clearly. Okay? But here, I will explain one by one to be clear. Because when you go below, then it will be more clear to you. Whatever I am going to explain is already explained here. Okay? So, from compassion, it will go change to the joy. It's called the base of infinite consciousness. Okay? The last part, dwell pervading one quarter with a mind imbued with equanimity. Likewise the second quarter, likewise the third quarter, likewise the fourth quarter. Thus above, below, across and everywhere, and to all as to oneself, dwell pervading the entire world with their mind imbued with equanimity, burst, exalted, measureless, without hostility, without ill will. So when you are this section, your meditation will change again from joy to equanimity.
Real.
So joy to equanimity, but where? The base of nothingness. The base of infinite nothingness. So in that stage, when you are practicing, your mind is so balanced. And you will have a lot of insight. Your insight will be so very strong. You know, people say that first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, no insight. But Buddha never said that. Buddha said in 149 sutta number from Majjhima Nikaya, the middle land. The middle land discourse of the Buddha, 149, section number 10. Serenity and insight evenly yoked together.
Yes.
Never separated.
Yes, I've read that.
Yeah, you already read that sutta already. So it's very clear in that sutta. So I asked the Bhante Vimalaramsi many times. He said that Buddha never separated. I told him, how do you know? Because I asked many questions to him. He said, well, you go sutta number 149, section number 10, then you read yourself. I went to my cabin, I read it. Wow, it's really true. Then next day, he asked me, did you get it? Yeah, one day I got it. And then he started laughing. You see, more you ask teacher, the more you learn. So that's why...
So you were going by your experience that insight only came from Vipassana?
Right, from a person.
And then you read this and realized that...
Yeah, before I never read the sutta like Bhante Vimalaramsi did. You know, so I was very lucky that after going to him, my mind opened up.
Yeah.
You know, because he showed me the right way. Do this, do that. And he told me also, you don't believe me what I'm saying. And I told him, well, why I have to believe you? You have to show me from the sutta. He said, yeah, I'm telling you from the sutta. Okay, you tell me whose sutta, whose section. Then he told me. And I went through, I found it. That's why whatever he taught me, I really accepted. It changed my life. You know? So that's why, and he also told me, I love you because you asked me a lot of questions. And also, because of me, because of my question, a lot of Westerners learn. Their mind also open up. because they don't know, they don't have background of Buddhism, you know.
No.
So these are the loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. So in this section, your insight, even though when you are practicing at the beginning, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, every jhana have insight.
Yeah, I thought.
Serenity, insight, serenity, insight. But when you attain the first jhana, you have the serenity, insight little bit. Second jhana, serenity, insight little bit more. Third jhana, serenity, insight little bit more than before. And fourth jhana, again more than before. Then it's increasing. You know, the more you develop the jhana stages, more your insight will grow. Then, when you attain the base of nothingness, then your insight will be very strong. That time your mind is so tranquil, so balanced. You know, so how will you practice that time?
Yeah, that's
You're
what
just watching. You know, one
So
time.
you don't, are you aware, since it's an infinite nothingness, are you even aware that you're
Of
in it?
course,
Okay.
of course you're aware. You know, one day I went to Bhante Bimramsi, he told me that, how are you meditation? And I told him, well, my mind is wandering a lot. I don't know what happened, but the first few weeks, my meditation progress very good. But now I have a lot of distraction. He said, okay, please wake up at 3 a.m. and practice meditation at your cabin. And he said, what? At 3 o'clock? I never practice at 3 o'clock. And you are telling me to practice at 3? He said, yeah. At 3 o'clock, everything quiet. So your meditation will be very good. Then I woke up at 3 and then starts practicing. And one day, I couldn't see anything. Nothing there.
So you didn't feel compassion, you didn't feel
Yeah,
joy.
everything is empty. And I was thinking, I feel bored, you know. What is going on? Nothing happening. And then I broke my meditation. And I went to him, he said, how about your meditation? Bhante, you know, according to your instruction, I wake up at 3 and I practicing. I couldn't see anything. Then I broke up. He said, don't do that next time. I told him why. He said, this is the good sign for you. If you continue from that stage, even you have potential to attain highest peace, nirvana. Wow. So what do I do? That stage. And he told me, just watching your mind. So just watching your mind. When your mind is unbalanced, just use the harmonious practice. Right foot. And again watching. So practice that way.
So when you're in the infinite nothingness, you're still feeling distractions?
Of course,
Okay.
your distraction.
And so you would have
your
to-
distraction will come until you attain nirvana.
And when that distraction comes, when you are trying to get back, do you just automatically
Then
go right into
Right
infinite,
right.
infinite nothing? So you're not having to step through all the jhanas again, you're just...
But when hindrances, that's why I said any one hindrances,
Then you're going to step
then
through,
you're dropped from the jhana.
and you'll have to step through them all
Yeah.
again.
So here I can say that first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, those are called jhanas.
Mhm.
The base of infinite space, the base of consciousness, the base of nothingness, the base of neither perception nor non-perception, those are called space. aspire realm. It's called aspire. Do you know aspire? It's called immaterial realm.
Okay.
It's the difference. It's called the highest. It's not called jhana actually. It's called in Pali ayatana. Ayatana. Sphere or the base. A space. We call it space.
Space, yeah.
So we call it immaterial realm. That means no form there.
You're not feeling.
Formless. Okay, we can say formless. Formless is easy way. Formless. So the base of infinite space, the base of infinite consciousness, the base of nothingness, the base of neither perception nor non-perception, we call formless world. Okay? The formless spirit. This is also the part of four jhana.
Oh, I see. It's just a continuation.
It's called the highest level. Highest level.
Okay.
But they are not called jhana. They are called the highest level, called ayatana in Pali. Okay? So now you understand the first, second, third. So still we are in the other sect, what they are talking about.
Uh-huh.
And now that those monks is still talking about, we too, friends, teach the Dhamma to our disciple. Thus, friends, come abandon 5 hindrances. So whatever he said again here, same things. Okay? See, you see, first he said that Buddha taught like this, like this, like this. And we also teach exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
But Blessed One disciple kept silent. They were very clever. They didn't argue with them, kept silent, no rejected their teaching. They decided, well, we'll go to the Blessed One and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So then those bhikkhus neither delighted in nor rejected the statement of those wanderers. Without delighting in it, without rejecting it, they rose from their seats and left, thinking, we'll learn the meaning of this statement in the presence of the Blessed One. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Then, when those bhikkhus had walked for alms in Halidavasana and had returned from the alms round after their meal, they approached the Blessed One. Having paid homage to him, they sat down to one side and reported to him the entire discussion between those wanderers and themselves. The Blessed One said, so now the Blessed One listened to whatever they said. Buddha's disciples said. Now Blessed One is going to explain. Because when wanderers of other sects speak thus, you should be asked. You see? Now he's giving good instruction to them. Friends, how is the liberation of the mind by loving kindness developed? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Destination means what? And.
Yes.
And then its culmination means
Accumulation means
completion.
Together.
Completion.
Yes.
Its fruit, its final goal. How is the liberation of mind by compassion developed? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? How is the liberation of the mind by joy developed? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? How is the liberation of the mind by equanimity developed? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? Being asked thus, those wanderers would not be able to reply, and further they would meet with vexation. What does it mean, vexation? Vexation means they will get mentally pain.
Oh,
That means, because they will not be able to answer your question, they will feel boring. What are you talking about? Because they don't know how to answer that. For what reason? Because that would not be within their domain. Domain means concern,
yes.
work. They don't know because they didn't do the homework for that. They didn't practice it. They didn't develop it. So they don't know how to answer that.
They just knew how to describe it. They didn't practice it.
Right. Yeah. So that's why. Then now Buddha is talking very important things. I do not see anyone, bhikkhus, in this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, in this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans, who could satisfy the mind with an answer to these questions, except the Tathagata or a disciple of the Tathagata, or one who has heard it from them. That means, except Buddha. So Tathagata means what? Buddha. So Buddha himself called Tathagata.
Yes, when he was speaking of himself.
Right. When he speak himself, he said Tathagata said this. Tathagata said that. He always talked that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that only except Tathagata and Tathagata's disciple, nobody can answer that. Right? Now, because how is the liberation of the mind by loving kindness developed? Now Buddha is going to explain to them, because those monks also don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea about loving kindness. How can they develop it? So now Buddha is going to explain. What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? Because here a bhikkhu develops the enlightenment factor of loving kindness accompanied by loving kindness. You see, here you have to be very mindful now.
The enlightenment factor of mindfulness.
How many enlightenment factors?
7.
7. So Buddha applied here 7 enlightenment factors. So I am going to read. Maybe you cannot find there. So here you see the enlightenment factor of mindfulness accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of investigation of experience accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of energy accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of joy accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of tranquility or relaxed of mind accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of collectedness of mind accompanied by loving kindness, the enlightenment factor of equanimity accompanied by loving kindness, based upon seclusion, dispassion, and cessation, maturing in release. Maturing in release. Do you understand that? this sentence?
Yes.
That means
Yes.
Buddha here applied all the 7 factors when you are practicing loving kindness.
When you release all of those
Yes,
passions.
you see, he applied all the 7 factors. So accompanied by loving kindness, accompanied by loving kindness. So that's why yesterday you asked me these questions. That's why I thought that I should explain this sutta to be more clear to you, you know? So, you see, now you can understand, when you practice loving kindness, the 7 awakening factors arise, coming in your mind. Before I never thought that, you know?
And then when you get to the 7th,
then when you get to the, and then you will...
If it's accompanied by...
it's accompanied by. That's why he said,
Yes.
accompanied by loving kindness.
Then you'd be an enlightened.
Then you will be the Arahant.
Yes.
So in this sutta, very clearly mentioned, one who practices loving kindness, you can attain
Go
Arahant.
all the way to Nirvana.
Nirvana, right? You know, most of the people, especially other practitioners, the guy who came here last night, he told me, Bhante, I heard that when someone practices loving kindness, they only can attain up to 3rd jhana. And I told him, who told you? He said that I heard from someone. Then I opened this book and I showed him, okay, let me go down, then I will explain one thing more. Here, if he wishes, may I dwell perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive. He dwells perceiving the repulsive therein. If he wishes, may I dwell perceiving the unrepulsive in the repulsive. He dwells perceiving unrepulsive therein. If he wishes, may I dwell perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive and in the repulsive. He dwells perceiving the repulsive therein. If he wishes, may I dwell perceiving the unrepulsive in the repulsive and in the unrepulsive. He dwells perceiving the unrepulsive therein. If he wishes, avoiding both the unrepulsive and the repulsive, may I dwell equanimously. That means, what does it mean equanimously? That means peaceful,
Yes.
steady, serenity, tranquility. It's called equanimously. Both equanimously, mindful and clearly observing. So here mentioned comprehending, right? I use observing.
Mindful, clearly,
And observing.
observing.
Then he dwells therein equanimously, mindful and clearly observing. Or else he enters and dwells in the deliverance of the beautiful. What does it mean? That means you attain 4th jhana. So here beautiful means, you see, when that guy asked me, if someone practices loving kindness meditation, they can attain only 3rd jhana. But here, I told him, beautiful. You see, the mind by the loving kindness, in the deliverance of the beautiful, that means you can attain 4th jhana. Is it clear? Then Buddha said, because the liberation of mind by loving kindness has the beautiful as its culmination. I say for a wise bhikkhu here who has not penetrated to a superior liberation. That means if you practice loving kindness will take you up to maximum level. You can enter the 4th jhana. Okay? And then next, so this is the loving kindness explanations. Now Buddha is going to explain compassion. How can you practice compassion? Because how is the liberation of mind by compassion? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? Because here a bhikkhu develops the enlightenment factor of mindfulness accompanied by compassion. You see, exactly the same. Whatever I explained, the 7 factors. So 7 factors Buddha applied in the loving kindness. 7 factor Buddha applies in the compassion. Exactly the same. The enlightenment factor of equanimity accompanied by compassion based upon seclusion, dispassion and cessation, maturing in release.
What is the release? I guess of
the release here, release means is like almost your mind ripe.
Okay.
Your mind is ripe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind is free from what? Defilements. Yeah. So it is called your mind is not
So you're
wicked.
You're releasing the defilements.
Yeah, you release. So maturing in release. If he wishes, may I dwell perceiving the repulsive in the unrepulsive. He dwells perceiving repulsive therein. If he wishes, avoiding both the unrepulsive and the repulsive, may I dwell equanimously, mindful and clearly observing. Then he dwells therein equanimously, mindful and clearly observing, or else with the complete transcendence of perception of forms, with the passing away of perception of sensory impeachment, with non-attention to perceptions of a diversity, where that space is infinite. He enters and dwells in the base of infinite of space, because the liberation of mind by compassion has the base of the infinity of space as its culmination. I say for a wise bhikkhu here who has not penetrated to a superior liberation. You see, whatever I explained, when you practice 6 direction, from the 6th direction you are practicing, you will attain the base of infinite space. So that stage, your meditation will change from loving kindness to compassion. Is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I explained, you see? And then we'll go next. It's called joy. Because how is the liberation of mind by joy developed? What does it have as its destination, its culmination, its fruit, its final goal? Because here a bhikkhu develops the enlightenment factor of mindfulness accompanied by joy. Same things. Every Brahma Vihara, all the loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity have the 7 awakening factor. Okay? So, if he wishes, avoiding both, if he wishes, may I dwell perceiving repulsive in the unrepulsive, he dwells perceiving the repulsive therein. If he wishes, avoiding both the unrepulsive and the repulsive, may I dwell equanimously, mindful and clearly observing, then he dwells therein equanimously, mindful and clearly observing, or else by completing transcending the base of the infinite of space, where that consciousness is infinite, he enters and dwells in the base of the infinite of consciousness, because the liberation of mind by joy has the base of the infinite of consciousness as its culmination. I say for a wise bhikkhu, yeah, who has not penetrated to a superior liberation. That means when you